see some pictures there of the training session. How did it go? I see RJ Sneeman is out. He seemed to be catching the ball, jumping in the line out. He's up to that level at the moment, is it? So.
He is, yeah. He took part in the forwards unit session. So it's one step closer in his progression to get back to full fitness. So it's great to see him out there. He's obviously, being part of everything now. So he's involved in everything, and then hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll see him training fully. So it's great.
What have you picked up of him from just your interactions with him in team meetings or on the training? What have you seen that you think he'll add to Leinster this season?
Well, he's definitely a quality lock. Do you know what I mean? He's got great offloading ability, good footballing skills. He's got a great footballing mind as well. So hopefully over the course of time he'll be able to impart some of the knowledge and experiences that he's had with the Springboks. It's a pretty cool place for me to be at the moment because they were going head to head against each other. James Ryan and RG, and then they were both calling the lineouts on that day in the second test as well. So it's great from a point of view of the two of them being able to sit down shoulder to shoulder and get their minds together and work together as opposed against each other. So yeah, it's a great mix.
Very good. Just last week, Leo said that Jamison Gibson Park was training fully, and now on the latest bulletin he's to be assessed further. Was there any setback or any further injury for Jamison?
Not that I'm aware of, no. He was out there running today, so I'm not aware of anything that's been flagged up.
Okay, so he in line for selection if he gets the nod.
Yep.
Lovely.
Yep.
Just one question on the captaincy, Robin. Obviously, you went with two co-captains last season, and it was announced last week that Caelan will take over. Can you maybe give me some insight into the thought process behind the reasons for that, whether you felt co-captaincy didn't work or just needed a new voice to take the lead in the dressing room?
No, I think Leo will be the one to talk about that with regards to coming to a final decision. But, we had a healthy debate and, there's a number of candidates. The squad is maturing well. Do you know what I mean? A number of players since I've been here have got married. They've had children. And with that maturity, there becomes a more sort of grounded view of life, I suppose. So there are many contenders, for the captaincy. Just looking at the pre-season, obviously, when the international boys were away, we felt that Jack had definitely led well in the game against Northampton in particular. So like I said, there's a number of candidates. Leo would have been the one to make the final call, so he can maybe give you a bit more depth to that. But no, I think Jack fatherhood is bringing out the best side of him, and he's found his voice, and just enjoying the way that he's leading the boys.
Very good. Just the last one for me, Edinburgh, first match of the season. Different circumstance 12 months ago, but you were up in Scotland and it was a defeat to start off that. So what are you expecting from Edinburgh on Friday night?
Yes, it's going to be a tough ask for us. They had a great win against Gloucester on the weekend. So you look at the experience and the number of internationals they got playing in their ranks as well. They're obviously going to try and gain an advantage over us from that side of things. So, just focusing on the pack in particular. They're at a different sort of stage experience-wise than we are. So it's going to be a big challenge and away from home, their first home game. Do you know what I mean, in the league? So they'd be looking to start well and get the ball rolling. So, but it's never an easy place to go, and it was tough for us there 2 years ago. So they've got some quality players, and we're going to have to be at our best. So it's definitely one to look forward to. And pay them the amount of respect that they do, and it's going to be tough for us. But we'll roll our sleeves up and we'll get on with it.
That's great. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else with a question for Robin?
Hi Robin, how's it going? Michael Bolton here.
Hi there.
I just wonder with the first game of the season, we've seen last year how crucial every point is now in the URC. How important is it Leinster get a good start to the season?
Yeah, you've just said it yourself there with regards to every point matters, isn't it? And this time last year, following the Glasgow defeat, we felt that we could have and maybe should have got a bit more out of that game. We were camped on their try line. I think we crossed the line, their try line, 2, if not 3 occasions, and we got held up. So we were only a whisker away from gaining that victory. So it's it'll be the same again. Like you rightly said, every point matters. So you can't afford to take any game lightly. But we're in this sort of unique position here at Leinster with a number of internationals that we've got. That we've got to bring these youngsters through and give them that experience. And some of them, they've been biding their time for quite long, and now's their opportunity. So they've got to make sure that they give themselves the best opportunity to take that chance. It is what it is, and we've got to go there, and we've got to make sure that we front up and come away with something.
Given how the season ended last year, was it difficult when you got the players back from pre-season? Was confidence low, or did you talk about what went wrong, or was it just a case of just focusing on this season?
Can you ask that again, the first part, sorry?
Yeah, just kind of how the season ended with Champions Cup final defeat and going out in the URC semi-finals. Was confidence low at the start of pre-season? Did you have to talk about what went wrong, or was it a case of just focusing on this season?
No, I think you can overanalyze. Obviously, we've touched on it. I mean, in fairness to Kieran Frawley, that was great. I was so chuffed for him in that second test, nailing that drop goal. Do you know what I mean? And if he could have done it a few weeks earlier, when we played against Toulouse, it would have been even better for us. So, yes, obviously there's more to it than just missing a drop goal, but it's fine margins. It is fine margins. Now, we finished in exactly the same stage in both competitions for the last 3 years running. So, it's not a given that you're going to get to a final. We've been the second best team in Europe 3 years on the bounce. And we've lost at the semi-final in the URC. Do you know what I mean? So there's no guarantee you're going to get to those stages. It's a hugely competitive competition, the URC, and obviously the Champions Cup. We've touched on it, but we haven't sort of overanalyzed or anything really, because there's no given. Do you know what I mean? And the Irish boys going away and getting a great result over against the world champions and beating them and leveling the series. They've had that experience, so they moved on, which is a bit different from the rest of us who've been left here in pre-season. So, no, it's just a case of learning one or two things and getting on with it, really.
Is this part of the season difficult for a coach like yourself, given there's an emerging Ireland tour coming up where I imagine a lot of Leinster's young players will be used, and then you've November internationals not too long after that. Is it hard to kind of implement what you want to implement with the squad?
We'll wait and see on that one. I mean, it's the first time that it's happened since I've been here anyway, and you can understand from a national perspective they want to keep an eye on players and how they're developing and grow their depth charts, etc. It's not ideal timing for us, obviously, because we could leave ourselves exposed with a couple of injuries in certain positions. But it is what it is, and we've got to just get on with it. So I'm sure it'll be a great experience for those youngsters that are being selected. Well, I hope so anyway. The experience of going away and representing the country at the end of the day. It's great for them, and they're going to get exposed to different opposition, work with different coaches. So it's great. In the meantime, we've just got to suck it up and get on with it and see how we come through the other side.
And just lastly for me, how healthy is it to have the competition of those younger players pushing through, combined with like so many internationals like yourself or away with Ireland, but then you'll have the younger players kind of pushing in. How healthy is it for a squad to have that level of competition?
It's absolutely brilliant. It's a luxury that isn't lost on me with regards to having 3 packs, quality packs, going at it toe to toe. Up till this stage of the season anyway, because you're reintegrating the returning internationals, you're developing. Obviously, the youngsters are going to be involved with Emerging Ireland. So there's a great mix in there. And for them to be able to rub shoulders with some of the best players in the world, there's no better experience for them, because you can try and explain to any youngster what it's like to come up, face against, an international front row. But unless you've actually done it and experienced it yourself, you're never going to fully know. You'll know 90% of it, but the other 10% comes from actually sticking your head in there and going at it. So it's a great mix. It's a great breeding ground especially for, I'm talking on the forwards' behalf. Scrummaging against the depth that we've got here currently, it's a great breeding ground for young front rowers, etc. And we've got to make sure that they're given time to flourish now, and hopefully they'll get that opportunity on that Emerging Island tour.
Thanks, Robin. Best luck for the season ahead.
Thank you.
Robin, it's Richie from Off the Ball here.
Hi, Richie.
Hey, not too bad, thanks. Come here. I'm just wondering, when you gather at the start of the pre-season, gather at the start of the season, is there any discussion of goals that you want to achieve as a group before you head into a new campaign? I'm not looking for you to give away the family jewels or family secrets here, but is there that kind of discussion around what you want to achieve throughout the course of the season?
Well, quite simply, we need to win something. Yeah, that's it for me, because you look at the quality that we've got here, and we've fallen short the last 3 years. So there's no getting away from it. Until you win something, you haven't got any bragging rights. And we've gone close, which has been great, and I've enjoyed the journey season after season. But that enjoyment only takes you so far. The next bit is actually winning something. So let's not make any bones about it. Boys, we've got to win to be successful. So we need to win something.
Secondly, as well, there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about the composition of the URC and the potential merger with Premiership Rugby, etc. I don't know if it's something that you kept an eye on, but are you happy with the status quo, or would you welcome kind of such a reaching out to the Premiership and to English Rugby?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it or speculated, really. I mean, the Champions Cup, that's a great competition, a cross-border competition. I haven't really got a view on it. I don't know the ins and outs. It'll come down to money at the end of the day, and I'm not really bothered about that.